Understanding intentions. Understanding others' intentions is another critical precursor to understanding other minds, because intentionality is a fundamental feature of mental states and events. Understanding intention leads to an understanding that others' actions are goal-directed and arise from particular beliefs or desires. Understanding others' intentions is a crucial feature of theory of mind, which is important for practically every aspect of animal life. The ability to understand and interpret the intentions of others has now been documented across the species. Animals are not just able to interpret the intentions of others, but also whether or not they are acting intentionally. Orangutans and chimpanzees showed they understood the difference between accidental and intentional acts. Studies showed that dogs know when people are acting intentionally versus unintentionally. Dogs indeed distinguish intentional actions from unintentional behavior. Understanding intention is a basic component of theory of mind, long regarded as uniquely human. It's the ability to attribute mental states to oneself and others, and dogs have it too. Reading intentions is vital for survival, and animal groups across the species choose their actions based on the intentions of possible competitors or predators. Individuals approach and investigate predators' intentions before deciding what action to take. After quickly approaching the predator to gather information, the animal will then either rejoin the herd, flee, or even attack the predator, depending upon the information it gains about the predator's identity and intent. Animals make decisions about their behavior by reading and interpreting the intentions of others. By making their intentions known, they give others a chance to reconsider their own intentions. Deer stomp their feet to let you know they have detected you, and that if you seem to be a threat, they will flee immediately. They want to show you that they're alert and aware of potential danger, and have alerted other deer in their herd that there is danger nearby. They want to encourage any predator nearby to come into view. A stomping deer is hoping to get some kind of response from you, so it can get a sense of the danger you present. It wants you to leave the area, but it doesn't indicate aggression. Signals of intent will occur prior to the action or behavior it represents. Letting others know of your intention to fight can eliminate the need to fight. Animals are often involved in overtly competitive interactions over food, territory, or mates. But rather than immediately escalating to physical fighting, competition is more likely to take the form of displays, like the roars of red deer or the loud wahoo calls of male baboons. Facial expression is also used to communicate intent. In social interactions, individuals produce displays that predict their subsequent behavior. Signaling your intentions and reading the intentions of others is an integral part of social life. Individuals signal their intentions intentionally with the purpose of informing others. Intentional signals are goal-oriented and evidence for complex mental states. Intentional communication is both goal-oriented and audience-directed, meaning it is directed at a specific audience. Theory of mind is demonstrated in the understanding of one's audience. Individuals adjust how they communicate and behave depending on audience members and their perception or mental states. Audience effects. In the animal literature, the term audience effect has been used specifically to refer to changes in the signaling behavior of individuals caused by the mere presence of other individuals. Signalers adjust signal production to maximize their own benefit, taking into account the presence, composition, and attention of their audience. Interesting examples come from Siamese fighting fish. Males who have lost a contest with another male spend less time displaying to a female who has witnessed the fight compared to naive females, as if these males are taking into account future mating probabilities, which is determined by the female's observations. Signaling usually occurs within a network of animals in which individuals are socially connected to each other. Many vocal signals transmit over large distances much beyond the immediate receivers, suggesting that they have been selected to function in networks with large and invisible audiences. In the vocal domain, various primates adjust call rates depending on who is in the audience, particularly mates, genetic relatives, or competitors. For example, female vervet monkeys alarm call significantly more when with their own offspring compared to unrelated juveniles. And males produce more alarm calls when adult females are around than when females are absent. Victims of aggression call out only if the audience consists of individuals who are capable of intervening and helping the victim. This intentional signaling takes into account psychological variables such as attention, capacity to help, or ability to comprehend. Ground squirrels produce more alarm calls when direct kin are present, relative to when the audience is composed primarily of non-kin. Male domestic chickens produce more food-related calls when in the presence of females. When communicating with hens, they use referential communication, which requires the ability to take the perspective of another animal. Audience effects show that signalers are aware of receivers' perceptual states and can modify their signal use accordingly. For example, when male langurs detect predator stimuli, they continue to produce alarm calls until all members of their group respond with a countercall. They don't stop giving alarm calls until every single group member has responded with at least one call, and perhaps keep track of who has and who has not responded. This intention to get information about who has information about the predator and who doesn't is another demonstration of theory of mind. Audience effects are often seen in young males who change their behavior in the presence of older males. Juvenile male brown-headed cowbirds decrease singing rates when adult males are in the area, although they readily sing to other juvenile males and to females. Juvenile males seem to adjust their singing rates flexibly to avoid possible aggression from adult male cowbirds, which are typically more dominant. Like humans, other primates also change their voices when they are talking to youngsters. Baboons vary the relative amplitudes of their vocal tract resonances depending upon whether the signaler is interacting with an infant or with its group in the context of movement. Some primates intentionally change their accents depending on their audience. Monkeys entering territory of other species will change their accents to sound less like foreigners and more like the locals. Red-handed tamarins change the sound of their voice when encroaching on pied tamarin land to sound like pieds and avoid alerting the protective locals to their presence. There are many different ways that animals adjust their behavior for an audience. Non-human primates often adjust their social decision-making strategies, depending on the audience composition at a given time. Do other animals also behave themselves better when they know someone's watching? A study of feeding behavior suggests that fish feed differently in front of their partners, a behavioral feature also found in primates. Researchers have found that fish known as cleaner wrasse also behave differently when watched. Females were more likely to cheat, eating forbidden foods when they knew the males could not see them. These insights support the notion of complex cognition occurring in the tiny brains of these fish. Male fish intentionally deceive their male audience. In the fish dating world, male fish often become interested in females because other males are interested in them. Since mate choice copying is common in many fish species, male signalers likely decrease mating competition by deceptively adjusting their courtship signals to females. Male Atlantic mollies court females with more nips and thrusts if those females are bigger rather than smaller. However, they only do this when no male eavesdroppers are present. If a male audience is present, the signaler will direct these visual courtship displays to the smaller fish, intentionally deceiving the other males into thinking that these are the fish they are interested in. In the crab courting world, males showing off their physical attributes choreograph their performance with the perspective of their female audience in mind. Male fiddler crabs are aware of what their female audience can detect visually and adjust the fine-scale movements of their large claw to increase efficacy of signal transmission based upon distance-related changes in female receiver visual perception. Being aware of your audience's perception and changing your behavior accordingly requires acknowledging the perception and mental states of your audience, theory of mind. Audience effects have now been documented across the species, from dogs to goats, to mice and elephants. These examples demonstrate that individuals are aware of what their audience is perceiving, and they intentionally alter their communication signals to make sure others get the information they want them to receive. We provide evidence that social animals can flexibly adjust their vocal coordination behavior to cope with direct and indirect effects of the environment on signal perception. We found that meerkats changed their calling rate when signal transmission was affected indirectly due to increased dispersion of the group. Our results indicate that variation in alarm call production depends on whom the call is addressed to, and also the motivational state of the caller. If an animal alters a signal in the presence of an audience, the signal is emitted strategically based on the signaler's assessment of how a receiver might be affected. The capacity to change signaling, depending on the listener's proximity to a predator, their age, and how closely related they are to the signaler, has been documented across the species from birds to squirrels to gorillas. Intentionality and flexibility in animal communication take into account the perspective and mental state of the perceiver, with the intention of influencing the receiver's mental state and behavior. Animals intentionally modify gestures to communicate intentions or directions to other species, or to their young, based on what they know they will understand. Researchers recorded adult babblers coaxing fledglings to move to a new shelter. Adults call and wave their wings in front of fledglings and then move toward the shelter. If a youngster doesn't follow immediately or stops along the way, the adult comes back and does the song and dance, again and again until the fledgling complies. Communication between adults and youngsters is perhaps the greatest example of the ability to understand others' mental states, theory of mind. Animals are aware of the knowledge states of youngsters. Elders know what the young need to learn, and they teach them what they need to know. They watch them acquire knowledge and keep track of their development, from naive infants to knowledgeable adult members of the group. This awareness of another's mental development requires theory of mind.